In this video, we are going to be talking about adding and subtracting decimals. And we're going to start with our understanding using some base 10 blocks. So the first example that we have is Julio. Here is 26.79 kilograms, and his backpack weighs 2.60 kilograms. And we want to know what is the total mass that this bike is carrying. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this on a base 10s chart. Now, these are going to have slightly different values. So one of these is going to represent 100th. The rod is going to represent a 10th. The square is going to be a 1, and this is going to be a 10. I'm just going to make that one a little bit smaller, maybe. So as we're going through, I need to represent this first number, so 26.79. So I need 2 10s, 6 1s, 7 tenths, and 9 hundredths. And I'm just going to cheat for 1 second here just to speed this up a little. So I have represented 26.79 using my base 10 blocks. Now I want to add an additional 2.60 to represent Julio's backpack. So I'm going to look at each of the places. Now, do I need to add any more hundredths? No, I have a 0 in the hundredths position, so I don't need to add any more. I do need to add 6 more tenths. So I'm going to add 6 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 more and 2 more 1s. So 1, 2. So this is going to represent the overall total of the numbers. Now I need to take a look and we'll tally how many we have at the bottom of each of these. So here I didn't change from my original. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in our hundredths position, we are going to have a 9. In our tenths position, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, that creates a bit of a problem because I can't put 2 digits in the tenths position. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to group 10 of these together and exchange them for a 1s or for this square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to take these off of here and I'm going to exchange them for one of these. Now this is then going to move into this column so that I can count it there. So I can say that I have 3 tenths. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's only 1 digit, so I can put that into my 1s column, no problems. And a 2 in my 10s. So overall, you can see that our decimal is sort of sitting here to help remind us. Overall, I can say that the answer to this is going to equal 29.39. Now, we're going to take a look at this in terms of subtraction as well. So the question that we have in our notes is around the amount of snow in St. John's, Newfoundland, which is 3.22 meters of snow, and in Halifax, which is located right here, which is 2.61 meters of snow. and they want to know the difference. So remember that word difference is asking us to subtract. So I have this situated again, and I'm going to start by representing my numbers. So 3.22. So I'm going to start with that one. I need 3 ones. I need 2 tenths. And I need 2 hundredths. So 3.22. So now that I have 3.22, I want to take away 2.61. So I'm going to look at this 1, which is in the hundredths position, and I'm going to take one of those away. Now, a good way to do this is to just circle them and draw an arrow away for it, or just circle it so that you know that that one is gone. So I'm going to take this one here, and this is going to be gone. I'm going to represent that that is gone. I was hoping it would be red, didn't show up that way. So I have removed that. Now I'm going to look in this. So I need to take away 6 tenths. Well, I kind of create an issue for myself because I need to take away 6 tenths, but I only have 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade one of these ones. I'm going to put it back into the bank, and I'm going to take out 10 of the rods instead. Because if I do that, I will be able to exchange them. So that is 5 and an additional 5. So there's my additional 10 rods. And so I want to take 6 of those away. So I'm going to draw a circle or a squiggle around 6 of these. So here is 5 in that column, and I'm going to scooch this 1 as well. So I'm going to take away those 6. So that nice little arrow tells us that we are taking it away. In this column here, I'm going to take away 2. So I have 2 there. I can take them away. So I'm going to show that I am taking away 2. Then we need to look at how many do I have left. So in this column, in the ones column, I have 0 left. In the tenths, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. And in the hundredths, I have 1 left. So I can say that the answer to this is equal to 0.61. Now, as you can imagine, this is going to become more and more challenging the bigger that your numbers become. So we are going to look at how to do this without the base 10 blocks as well.
The second way your notes discuss adding decimals is to go completely abstractly and just using the numbers on paper. So we're going to talk about the way that both Ben and Katie add. So you are adding the two numbers 2679 and 260. So we're actually going to talk about Katie's way first. So 26.79 and 260. So the important thing that Katie does is she includes her decimals. The other thing that she does, and it's very, very important, is she lines her decimals up. So when we are adding and subtracting, we want to make sure that our decimals are stacked over top of one another. That's going to make sure that we are adding the same place value. So if you think about it in another way, if I asked you to add 7 and 12, you wouldn't write it like this, because the 7 belongs in the 1 spot. So we have to line that 7 up with the 1s in the 12. Oops, that's a 2. So we have to make sure that those place values are lined up properly. And so we need to do the same thing here. So we have our 10s lined up, our 1s lined up, our tenths lined up, and our hundredths lined up. So that sort of general rule stays the same. The best way to do it is to line those decimals up. Once I've done that, I'm going to add the same way that I have always added. So 9 plus 0 is 9. 6 plus 7 is 13, so I'm going to write a 3 down here and carry the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9, and 2 plus nothing is 2. Now the big trick with this is that we take that decimal and we drop it straight down into the answer in the same position. Now, the way that Ben does it is also similar. So what he does is he doesn't use the decimals at all. He just lines up the numbers. And so when he adds, he gets the same steps. So he gets 9 plus 0 is 9, 7 and 6 is 13, 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9, and then 2 plus 0 is 2. And then what he does is he uses some estimation. He knows that he has 2679, which is approximately 27, and $2.60 or 2.60, and that's approximately 3. So when I add those two numbers, 27 and 3, that's close to 30. So he knows that his answer has to be close to 30. So when he's picking where his decimal goes, he knows, well, if I put it here, then I have 2.9. That's not close to 30. If I put it here, I have 293.9. That's also not close to 30. So if I want to get a number close to 30, I have to put it right there. So the two ways are very similar. One requires you to do some estimation, whereas the other one you can kind of just work completely algebraically or completely abstractly. So whichever way you like is fine. I do recommend that you have an understanding of all of them because, to be honest, although this one gives you an exact answer, this is the type that you're going to do more often in the real world when you are out and about and having to add decimals together. We can also do this with subtraction. So we can also do this with subtraction. We have subtracted on this video already with the base 10 blocks, but we can do the same thing when we are doing subtraction with without the blocks or using just the math. So what we have as a question in your notes there is we have the difference between the snowfall in St. John's, Newfoundland and Halifax, Nova Scotia. We want to know how much more does St. John's get. So if I have that, I can follow that same sort of a step. So 3.22 minus 2.61. Now you'll notice that this is that same way that we did initially. My decimals are lined up. So I'm going to subtract top from bottom. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 6. Well, I can't do that. I'm going to need to borrow. So that's going to go to 2, and this is going to be 12. So 12 minus 6 is going to give me 6. And 2 minus 2 is 0. Now, following the same pattern as above, we're going to drop that decimal straight down. We can also do this with the estimation way. So we have 322 and 261 without those decimals. We're going to do the same subtraction. So 2 minus 1 is 1. I can't subtract 6 from 2, so I'm going to have to borrow. So 12 minus 6 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. Now I need to think about my numbers. 3.22 is approximately 3, and 2.61 is approximately 2. So when I subtract those, I'm going to get 1. So in order to make my decimal as close to 1 as I can, I need to put it in there. So I get that same 0.61 both times. This is a larger assignment just because I did combine adding and subtracting. They're very, very similar. If you have any problems, please let me know. Otherwise, give it a try and let me know how it goes.